10 spots were already sold with a matching grant to benefit Torah learning. Meaning to say, I have a very generous sponsor who says, Rabbi, for every one of 18, I give you 18. And they get a plaque in the founding wall of the Kollel. Flexible payment plans are available, fully tax deductible. I'm not fundraising. I'm only just creating an awareness. I know you ask, and you're respecting me. You don't want to interrupt the class. So I'm doing the talking, and you're doing the listening. And believe me, that we are very, very excited with this project. That is not a simple project to undertake upon one's shoulder, but Be'ezat Hashem, with the Kahal wishes and blessing, and the committee's encouragement and blessing as well, this will become a reality in a few weeks. So I want the Kahal to take advantage. And I'm not talking about the money part. To take advantage of the extended learning opportunities that are going to be offered to the Kahal Kadosh, literally a bit more than we are saying now. Give or take 3 to 4 hours a day, in the morning, in the evening, etc. So it will be a source of beracha for everyone that comes, that participates, and that sponsors. And the Zohar Kadosh continues and it says, there is a concept of a blessing that the Torah gives in today's parasha. The pasuk says, Hineni noten lo et beriti shalom. What is the meaning of the berit shalom? What's the meaning of the covenant of peace? Can you imagine Borei Olam blesses the person with peace? What I'm going to say now is nothing new. But I think that is the right time to say it again. We all know already that there is no ultimate blessing in the life of the person like shalom. Look in Rashi, Perasha Bechukotai. Rashi says, Shalom shakul keneged hakol. Peace is everything. You can have money, you can have food, you can have drinks, you can have cars, you can have homes. But if you have no shalom, can you truly enjoy any of that? No. And what happens if the person doesn't have all of the above, but has a peaceful way of life? You are in Gan Eden. You go to sleep happy, you wake up happy. That is one of the reasons, by the way, that every few words or sentences, especially in our daily prayers, we reinforce the topic of shalom. Sim shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, oseh shalom, Hashem oz le'amo item, Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom, birkat hamazon, oseh shalom bimromav. Why so many times shalom, 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 shalom? One answer is because shalom is one of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number one. Number two, Shabbat also is one of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why you say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, you're saying Hashem's name to the person. Shabbat Shalom, Hashem, Hashem. Like we said now in the Hanonim. Amonai, Amonai. That's equal to Shabbat Shalom. Number one. But we understand that when a person has peace, the person can function better. And you deal with situations better. And you create an environment, a better environment. But how do we achieve true shalom? The Zohar Kadosh explains that there are two formulas required. One of them, Torah. Why Torah? Because we need to understand. We always speak about the concept and the importance of self-improvement. I ask you a question. How does a person improves themselves. If you're just going to let nature to do the work, it may take a lifetime to change even 1 millimeter of who we are. We need to call in the reinforcements. Who is the reinforcement that activates the mindset of realizing, you know what? I need to change. I need to improve myself. I need to speak nicer to people. I need to speak to my wife in a loving and in a more respectful way. Who creates that awareness? Short answer, Torah learning. Because Torah is oxygen for the neshama. And we listen to the Torah, we listen to the eternal messages of the Torah. Even though this was written 2,000 years ago, we understand that the lessons are relevant. The Torah is not a storybook. Okay, first season, second season, third season, to be continued, pull it up from the earth. It's not a TV channel. It's an eternal message that arouses itself to the survival of Am Israel. So we understand, the Zohar Kadosh writes, that the Torah learning is a mandatory component in the life of the person for those who want to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and those who want to change. And believe me, changing, it's important. And I'm not referring to the good parts that we have. You're a happy person, don't change. You're a generous person, don't change. You're a person who loves to do favors, don't change. But not everybody has all these beautiful midot. There are people that are angry. There are people that are always down. There are people that are lazy. There are people that are wasteful. There are people that they don't know how to control their mouth. There are people who need to have always the final word. And it's not, yes, sweetheart. Okay? You understand? So how do we change? By becoming aware of the need to change and how deficient are defects in the life of the person, then we learn to change. But I'd like to add one more component the Zohar Kadosh brings. And it's a lengthy topic, but I'm going to open the topic, and Beli Neder will continue tomorrow. And the Zohar Kadosh says that the other topic that has the power of peace in the life of the person is the topic of personal holiness. Personal holiness. And does not include, it's not limited, I should say, to family purity, but is how the person behaves themselves in a moral way with their Berit Milah. This topic is a topic by itself. I'm speaking for almost an hour, and I know that many of you may need to leave. So at this moment, we're going to finish the class for today. We'll continue Beli Neder with this topic tomorrow, because I think that one of the things that the Zohar will tell us is that the formula of personal holiness is not limited only to the actions, if are appropriate or inappropriate, but the actions are preceded by the mind of the person, by the mahashava. How does a person think? And I like to finish the class with a positive sentence. You know, the power of the mind is much more powerful than what we think. There was a great rabbi who used to say, think positive and things will become positive. Sometimes a person with their own mindset and their own way of thinking can prevent the salvation. As I said yesterday in the special class for Refuah Shelema of the child Hannah Bat Shani, that Borei Olam saw the emunah of the parents of this child. I'll tell you something that I'm not sure that you may have heard. That when they became aware of the condition, and there was a meeting with the doctors, the hospital, the attorneys, and the parents of the child, and the doctor says, we have good news and we have not good news. The doctor wasn't so eloquent and he said not good news. He said bad news. But a Yehudi needs to train themselves not to say words that have a content of negativity. So he says, I have good news and not good news. What is the good news? That there is a medicine that can take care of your child. Good news. What is the not good news? That cost only $2.2 million. That's it. The second option costs double and is a 10-year treatment. There is a second option available. Less down payment, but it's a 10-year treatment. 5 treatments per year. First year, $750,000. All the 9 subsequent year, $375,000. Do the numbers. Almost $4 million. Injection in the spinal cord. Challenging, painful, dangerous. So they chose option 1, 2.2. And one of the doctors says, we know that is too much money for you. So what the father of the child says, why do you say that? My father is very wealthy. He can write me a check for that amount. So the doctors, this is true. This is recorded, I believe. The doctor said, who is your father? He says, Hashem, God. They laughed at him. They said, Hazid. He's delusional. He doesn't know. When you have emunah, peshuta, simple faith in Hashem, what Borei Olam wants us to do the hishtadlut. A Yehudi needs to know. It's important to rely in Hashem. But it's important to do hishtadlut, to make the effort. I ask you a question. How many of us believed when this campaign was launched that it will have the desired number? Probably most of us believe if we get a couple of dollars, maybe we can beg the company to be humanitarian towards the cause. And as the hours were going by, more and more and more people came and participated. And in a record-breaking time, this was achieved. And I'm sure you know, the child treatment was done on Friday. In a miracle, in a way of miracle, the doctors released the child back home before Shabbat. Even though everything was set up to stay in the hospital, they did all the blood work. They say, your daughter is great. Don't stay in the hospital for what? You're going to expose her to viruses and bacteria that sometimes could be found in a hospital setting. Go home, bring her Sunday for a quick check. Obviously, the child needs to go a few times a week for testing, and for the next 4 to 6 weeks, liver testing. But this testing, I don't want anybody to be afraid, are simple tests that are being done in a hospital setting, blood work, to make sure that everything works out in the way Borei Olam wants, obviously, for the health of the child. And I have no doubt that the emunah of the parents and the ishtadlut and the effort that everybody did at all levels, praying, helping, offering help, donating, and taking upon themselves, as I said last week, more and more things, that Borei Olam saw such an awakening from Am Israel worldwide that he says, you did your part, I'll do my part, and Be'ezat Hashem, we keep conveying great news to the Kahal Kadosh. May everybody have a wonderful day. Shavua Tov Mevorach. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer.